Geez, that takes a good. Oh, I found it was wrong with my internet, bro.
Okay. Oh my word.
Welcome to the sound.
I'm I don't know.
All right, well, we are already getting our butts kicked with this software.
Apparently I closed the browser window.
Ah,
And now is a time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there. And we gotta lead it.
True internet suffered depression.
You are fake news.
I am not suicidal.
We'll circle back with you directly. If I can circle back, I'll circle back with you.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
hello and welcome to episode 236 of the Jeffrey and Brian Show. I am Jeffrey.
I'm Brian.
Well, there's two guys drinking some beer, talking what's going on. I can't seem to find the live stream of this. I think I had the one to
I
live, don't I? Yeah. You already got it?
I'm working on it.
Uh, Share. I'll send it to you and you can send it on over to the Facebook thing. Oh,
I
I can
got
just
it.
copy it. Look at that.
Yeah, you can just
All
copy it.
right. Yep. All right. So let me know when we are on Facebook.
We are on not on Facebook.
Cheap
Yeah.
fakes to the rescue last week. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like how it do you update those or once you put a thumbnail on, does it automatically change it?
It automatically changes it.
That's awesome. Because on the my YouTube channel, it's just a picture of us looking like goobers waiting for everything to get started.
Yeah.
You want me to just go ahead and post this sucker?
I'm gotta get the chat. I don't know. Go for it.
I'm not even sure how to post anything here. Oh, geez, Louise. Where the heck is the thing I can post in? 'Cause I got the damn file. I just can't find where I can actually post stuff. I'm also, oh, that's why it's because I'm here as myself, not the Jeffrey and Brian show, which is unfortunate, but I had just running in circles here trying to get this shit up and running. That's what we
Yeah.
get when they go and change stuff on us.
Uh-huh. All right, I put it into the Jeffrey and Brian Show page.
I got it posting right now to our normal live stream on Facebook.
Okay.
All right. All right. Finally, this shit's up and running. I apologize to everyone. It took us a couple minutes there, and we're unannounced episode. We're trying to make up for Saturday.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I
we
was
we
traveling.
missed
It
Saturday,
was next to impossible.
and we wanted to do a live stream of the debate, but I had the nastiest case of the Hershey squirts, and I could not get off the toilet all day.
That was
So
fun.
we're gonna be. Oh, it was terrible. At least I could watch the debate on my phone,
Oh, it was horrible.
sitting
That
on the
was
toilet.
probably more exciting to listen to your shit than watch that thing. I watched about a half
Yeah.
hour and I couldn't do it anymore.
Oh, oh, I watched all of it, and we will definitely get to that. But before we do, smash that like button.
That's right.
And anyone who is interested in possibly throwing a couple shekels our way, because the show honestly does not pay for itself. This comes out of our pocket.
Yep.
So even a buck here, $5 there would help a lot. But right into the intros and the follow-ups, Julian Assange has flown to a remote Pacific island to have a plea deal with the United
Uh,
States concerning his espionage charges.
he's not there anymore. He
No,
was
I'm
only
sure
there for
he's
court
probably
in the Marianas Islands for probably half a day because that's
yeah.
like
Then he went back to Australia.
Yeah, and then he's now in Australia. So yeah, he's back home in his homeland.
So Biden doing this now, I don't. Well, the only thing I can think of why he would do it now is because he doesn't want to give Trump the opportunity
Right.
to get information from him about anything he has on the DNC.
Well, Trump should have.
Just my thoughts, but
He should have got, pardoned him when he was president. So
he should have. And that was one of the things that pissed me off. And apparently, for some reason, the conservative party, the Republicans, don't like the idea of pardoning Assange, and I don't know why.
uh
Because he released stuff about Bush. Really?
he released stuff
Caitlin
about
Manning.
everybody. He didn't care if you were
Yeah,
a Republican or Democrat. If he had stuff, he was releasing
yeah,
it.
yeah, and Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning, is already out of prison for the one
Right.
who gave Assange the documents that he published. But Obama went and commuted Manning's charges because he became a she, and apparently that's means you're not guilty of anything. Which it's no longer Pride Month, so I can say that.
Yay.
Uh, okay, remember the raid on Mar-a-Lago with all the documents? It said top secret all over them, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"They're right there. Here are the secret files."
Right.
And we said, like, yeah, and we said, well, then who's taking pictures of these and publishing them for the world to see?
Yeah, because
Turns
that
out the
is
FBI,
illegal.
yeah, it turns out the FBI brought those cover sheets with them
So it was all
and placed
staged.
them on stuff. It was completely staged for a photo op. And then the best part is they got shit mixed up and out of order. They don't know what's what anymore. So this ought to be interesting to see what happens there.
Nothing's going to happen
Uh,
with this case because they're going to say he brought those files home under his presidential authority.
yeah, and the president can classify and declassify at will.
Yeah.
And we mentioned what's going on in France. Um, for the EU elections, the people voted very quote right wing, depending. They have a weird party system over there,
Yeah.
but like Marine Le Pen's party and Macron's his name, right? The president
Yeah,
or
Macron.
prime
Yeah,
president, I think.
Macron. Yeah.
He, and I liked this. A lot of people didn't get it, but he dissolved the entire parliament to hold a new election, and I liked that because that was him saying basically, you clearly disagree with me. Let's have a new election and see if everybody gets replaced. And
Right.
then they did by Le Pen's party. And of course, the right wing is so violent because every time they win an election, the left wing goes out and riots. And Paris is on fire right now because of that. The party that lost the seats are rioting.
Of course.
I love we hear that here too. Oh, if Trump wins, it's going to be violence everywhere. It's like, so you're threatening everybody to vote Biden.
Right.
The Trump supporters be violent. Like, no, they won't. If they were going to be violent, it would be like a January 6th when they realized they didn't win. You know,
Uh-huh.
I know I brought this guy up. I know I brought this guy up a couple of times. Tim Pool.
Yep.
Um, last year he tried to get involved with the skate tournament, that skating tournament that happens every year, skateboarding,
Okay.
and tried to throw like 20 grand in to help give prizes to best trick in the competition.
And what, they wouldn't take his money?
They wouldn't take his money. Like, no. And all the skaters like, what the fuck are you doing? We want the
Well,
money.
we'll take his money. We don't have to agree with what he
Yeah,
says and to take his money,
no, exactly. Just like Michael
It
Jordan said,
benefits, it actually
Republicans buy.
benefits the sport,
Yeah, and nobody in skateboarding makes any money.
No. So
Well,
$20,000 would go
wait,
a long ways for prize money.
yeah. And here's the best part, though. Tim Pool decided he didn't like that. So he dropped $850,000 and bought the property the skate park was in.
Did they still let him have the skate park?
Oh, I just laughed so hard. Like that's the ultimate troll right there. Like that's peak pettiness. I'm gonna drop more than $750,000 just to say fuck you.
Yeah.
And he said he only has two rules: is you cannot kick the owner of the property out because they tried to kick him out before and they didn't own it, which was
Uh-huh.
interesting. And then he also said no pedophiles. And here's the best part is a bunch of people got offended calling him a homophobe when he said no pedos allowed.
Right.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You're saying all homosexuals are LGBTQ are pedophiles?
No.
My connection's unstable, but
Try turning off your camera for a minute. And
before we had an issue.
you're breaking up still pretty bad.
No, it'll be fine. The issue before was we only got so Jesus Christ. All right. The issue was we only get so many megabytes at peak speed, and then it's
Ah,
oh, I didn't realize that was more like a faster.
right.
So that should handle some of this, but the weather and the satellite.
Okay.
We did contact Frontier that does the phone services and the
Uh-huh.
cable internet, and we tried to offer them a butt ton of money to run a cable up here
They said it
because well, the
wasn't worth
cable's
it.
only 20 miles away.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know what? We'll fund this. We'll pay it up there. Anyone who gets on for we'll say 5 years has to. They just said
Yeah.
that's not how it works. You just have to wait. And I was like, what do you mean? What if it's 10 years before you guys get up here? We're in the middle of fucking nowhere, dude.
You'll have
Yeah,
Starlink
we were
system
thinking
before
like
then.
charge everybody in the area around here that gets on it on our cable, charge them like $2 until it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that would work. But you'll have
We
to.
actually looked at Starlink. HughesNet is working better than that does.
Okay.
He only turned up.
There's not
Elon
enough
only
satellites
has so
turned
many
on over
satellites
the.
turned on right now.
Okay. We gotta wait for more to get up in the air.
And we talked about this before too. Well, he flipped a switch and turned on the satellites over Ukraine to help Ukraine's defense.
Yeah, so the
He wants to
satellites
get it complete
exist. You just gotta
everywhere.
flip switches.
Perfect. All instead of dead zones. Yeah, but he wants to have enough to turn it all on at once.
Right.
And we brought this up before. Boeing, like all the
Uh-huh.
issues they've had.
They were both
Um,
awarded SpaceX and Boeing were both awarding the
what kind of
contract.
moron would get in a space shuttle from Boeing?
They did it. They're stuck at the space station now.
Yeah, they've been there for weeks or something.
Yeah, they're supposed to be there for a week and they're going on a month now. And they're
I-
saying that they can come back anytime but they're just troubleshooting stuff to make sure that the problem doesn't happen again. And then when the space junk almost hit the place, they all had to evacuate their spaceships, and
my
they said
God.
that the Boeing plane ship thing would make it back okay to the Earth.
I don't know if you care to share the audio on this next one. And it's a short one. It's about that train that derailed in what East Palestine,
Yeah, the
Ohio.
one that President Biden never went to go check on, but Trump
You don't
did.
really have. Yes, that's the one. If you want to share it, I won't tell you the good news of what happened.
Okay,
But if you don't want to share it, I'll just go ahead and.
let me get through the commercial.
Don't you hate that? Well, everyone remembers this. We talked about this recently, actually, because the chemicals that spilled made it as far north as Maine and as far south as North Carolina on the coast. So that means both of us have been hit by these chemicals,
Oh, okay.
which is fucking awesome, right?
Palestine, Ohio,
Anyway, you
that
threw
led
the
to the
commercial yet?
evacuation of more than 2,000 residents. The NTSB says the
course not.
accident
Well,
was
yeah.
caused by
You don't
a
hear it?
wheel bearing that was on fire for more than 20 miles but wasn't caught
Did you
because
hear
of
that?
faulty track sensors. More than 3 dozen freight cars derailed, including 11 cars. Carriers have confirmed the
You don't hear it?
And now, oh, yeah, we look at that.
Did you hear any of the
And I
clip?
disconnected again. Are you fucking kidding me? I heard some of it, but I disconnected somehow.
Okay.
Pain in the ass.
Cause of
I'm gonna have
last
to
year's
find someone
train
besides the
derailment
basement
in
to do
East
this, I think.
Palestine,
Either that or get
Ohio,
like
that led to the evacuation of more than 2,000 residents. The NTSB says the accident was caused by a wheel bearing that was on fire for more than 20 miles but wasn't caught because of faulty track sensors. More than 36 freight cars derailed, including
So now we're
11
gonna have
cars
to
carrying
spend billions of
hazardous
dollars
materials.
to upgrade
The
all the
board
railroad
also
tracks.
said that Norfolk Southern botched a decision 3 days later to blow open
Yes.
5 tank cars and burn the vinyl
it's funny
chloride
that's what
inside. The railroad, for its part,
that's
says
enough of that
it stands by
audio.
the decision.
That's actually what the wife does. She works with the railroad systems, checking tracks and everything.
Okay.
She does it on a computer. Yeah,
Well,
it's
she wouldn't
nice
be able to
for
do
her
it in East
collecting a
Palestine because the
Boston.
sensors weren't working.
Well, they have a special robot. They run down the tracks that take measurements and send them to her,
Oh, okay.
and then
Interesting.
she does her data analysis thing from the computer in our house, which is badass because she's collecting a Boston paycheck in West Virginia,
Nice.
and that is so much more money than West Virginia makes.
Right.
Fuck, our disability and her medical retirement from the Air Force pays our mortgage anyway.
Uh-huh.
And then she's getting more than twice as much as the average household income in West Virginia.
Right.
Uh,
Nice. That's a good thing.
speaking of West Virginia, a see, I did the training thing to transition into West Virginia.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Principal at a local high school has been busted for DUI. That should be tons of fun to see what happens. There tends to be a lot of booze and a lot of drug use out here because it's fucking nothing to do. So like if you're not into athletics or like four-wheeling or fishing or hunting, you're SOL. If you're not into the woodsy stuff.
Are you gonna get into the woodsy
Uh,
stuff?
oh, I love the woodsy stuff. Are you kidding me? I'm waiting to buy a quad right now, an
Okay.
ATV, whatever you want to call them.
Nice.
Uh, and now we have a physician. Speaking of the drugs in West Virginia,
Uh-huh.
we have a doctor and nurse being charged with running a drugs scheme worth billions of dollars. The nurses from Ohio, they should probably be in prison for a very long time because of that.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Okay, drugs, alcohol, drugs. And now let's talk about how in West Virginia you are now allowed to carry a gun onto a college campus. That was interesting. They may not be good at enforcing let me rephrase that. They may not be good at keeping people from breaking the law, but
Uh-huh.
it is completely okay to carry a gun around. And I think that's awesome. They're like absolute Second Amendment followers here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
Uh,
also Virginia is also an open carry state.
yeah, which I thought was strange about what happened with the
It's very
Greenbrier Mall.
strange. Yeah, because I see guns walking around Walmart all the time, and unless the
I
Greenbrier
used to
Mall
carry.
has clearly stated policies on all their doors that say no guns allowed,
Oh,
then
they do?
I don't know. Because I don't go there that
Oh,
often. So that's the only
yeah,
thing
it's
that would
it's an
make
open
sense to
carry
me because
state.
Virginia is an open carry state. So you don't even need a
Check
permit
this out.
to carry.
West Virginia, I don't even need a permit to conceal carry.
Nice.
But if I do get a concealed carry license, I don't have to do a background check every time I buy a gun for a year or something like that, which is a joke. I mean, they didn't even do the background check on the spot. I filled out paperwork, they sold me my gun, and then they ran the background check.
Okay.
Uh, and I mentioned this next one to the wife, the M&M, Monitor Merrimack.
Yep. Yep. It happened yesterday. The bridge was closed from
Um,
like 7 o'clock
Apparently,
in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
man, I bet that fucked up commerce and business, huh?
Luckily, I didn't have to go over there that day, anywhere on the other side of the water.
No, there's a couple other ways to get around. It's just
But if you lose one tunnel, everything else gets blocked up too. So
And it's not like they're right next to each other. They go to different places, so you have to go a long way around, the long, long way around, you know.
Uh-huh.
But apparently, someone died when he drove off the bridge.
Well, they hit another car while trying to change lanes on the bridge, and it flipped them over the guardrail and into the water.
Jeez,
The guy was
jeez
55
Louise.
years old, 56, something like that. He's my age.
My God, what a shitty way to die. All right, and Trump, I guess, was in Chesapeake recently.
Yep, the day after the big debate that we're going to get to, we're going to circle back to. And they had tens of thousands of people that showed up, including the governor of the state of Virginia.
Oh,
So,
Youngkin.
yep, he made an appearance with them.
All right, all
And
right.
they're saying there's a lot of polling going on around right now, as much as you want to believe polling, that says Virginia could be a toss-up state. We could actually swing back to the right. Thanks
Yeah,
to,
that's what I saw too. It looks like it's become Virginia's becoming a swing state. We'll see what happens though.
well, we've been
Because
voting
like
them here for quite a while now for president because the big
look how that
population
look how
areas
that's
like Northern Virginia and Virginia Beach, they tend to vote that way. So,
those rich men north of Richmond.
yeah.
Uh, Speaking of rallies, before the debate, did you see AOC, Sanders, and Bowman
No, I
in the
missed that.
Bronx?
Uh,
Oh my God, it was a fucking joke. Bowman's who was the dude who was like and like fucked his chance up of winning?
I don't know.
Remember him?
Uh-uh.
Oh, well, she AOC was jumping around and screams like, "Are you ready to take this country back?" I'm like, "Take it back from who?" It's like you guys have the Senate and the executive branch.
Right.
And then Bowman uh, was
He
talking about
lost
how Israel has a right.
his seat.
Yeah, he got primaried out.
Yep.
He's not even going to be in the general election.
Nope.
And then he had a follow up when he was talking about it, and he's like yelling at everybody else. Now it's all their fault. And it's like, no, buddy, you don't just get to be a congressman. Like you
You
have
were
to
a
actually
bad
do shit.
congressman if if you know you're a bad congressperson if you're a Democrat and you get voted out in your district. You know, AOC must be a better congressperson than Jamal Bowman is.
Yeah, well, they're both squad members, and by the way, he should have pulled the fire alarm before he had a chance to speak at that rally because it really blew his chances. Remember, he's the one who pulled the fire alarm.
Yeah, yeah, and he didn't. Nothing happened to
Yeah,
him.
no, no, nothing. And he actually interfered with
An
congressional
actual, they could have
procedures.
used the sedition thing on him, you know, because he actually did interfere with the government proceedings.
Yes. And Cori Bush, I haven't seen it lately, but last I saw, she was down by 22 points in her own primary. So we might be getting rid of some of these squad members.
That would be good.
It would be good because they are a bunch of terrible, terrible people that have no idea what's going on around them. And AOC says the dumbest shit.
Uh-huh.
Well, you said you watched a little bit of the debate. Why don't
Yeah,
you tell me how it started out with Joe and his cold that we didn't hear about until it already started?
it it definitely sounded like Trump spent more time getting ready for the debate than Biden, even though Biden took a week off from being president and spent it at Camp David preparing for the debate. He had a very
Oh, I got real
raspy
good about that
voice.
because yeah, well, yeah, and then they came out like, oh, he's sick. It's like, well, why didn't you use this as an excuse to not do the debate? Or at least tell us before the debate started so it wasn't
Yeah.
going to be sounding like a dead man. You know what I mean?
He sounded horrible.
Then, uh, oh, it's gross. RFK Jr. sounds better.
That's
Uh,
saying a lot right there. Did you missed the real debate then if you were watched this one?
well, what was the other debate?
Well, well, um, Robert Kennedy Jr. was answering all the questions given out on CNN on his own platform. So he was answering the questions that they were given to Biden and Trump.
Interesting. Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, came out and tried to walk back when Biden said not a single U.S. Soldier has died in his presidency.
Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, I was like, 13 died in Afghanistan with your botched withdrawal.
Yeah.
Um,
And then a couple died in Jordan.
Four
from a
died
drone
last week
strike.
in Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 of them died exactly. It's like he just, and I love everyone looking all this in. It's Trump lied, Trump lied, Trump lied. And I was like, so did Biden. And
Yeah.
what did Trump really lie about? He exaggerated.
He likes to
Biden flat out
exaggerate.
lied.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it's like that's what I hear. That's what they tell me. But I mean, it got
I liked the one time
within
where
10
when
minutes.
Trump
Biden,
said, I don't know what he just said. I don't even think he knows what he just said.
I was waiting for that to come up. Like, oh, thank you, Mr. President. Former President Trump. It's like I don't know what he just said. I don't think he does either.
Yeah, that was funny.
By the way, we are going to do a live coverage of the next debate, and we are going to come up with either a bingo card or a drinking game for it.
All right, drinking game.
With stuff like that, huh?
Drinking game.
Yeah. Well, within 10 minutes of it starting, Biden froze up and went, which was tons of fun.
Yeah.
That will definitely be on the drinking game. Yeah. And like I said, his only reply was that Trump lies. It's like every time Trump says, did you see
Right.
My Cousin Vic?
Yes, I
When
love
he
My
walks
Cousin
up
Vinny.
after
That was a
the-
great movie.
Okay, so prosecution puts in their thing, and Joe Pesci walks up. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, everything that man just said is bullshit." He goes and sits down. I laughed my ass off at that. But yeah, I mean, and then Biden starts talking about challenging Trump to a golf game. And the crazy thing was, well, he said he had a 6 handicap, and Trump was like,
Is that even a
that's the biggest
thing?
lie he told all night."
I don't even think you
was
handicaps go
hilarious.
that low.
No, he's full of shit. And I was like, oh, he's got 6 handicaps. He's got dementia. He's
Yeah.
80 something years old. He can't walk. Fecal incontinence. And then he said something about there being 1,000 trillionaires in this country. And I was like, there's not a single trillionaire on the planet.
Can we borrow money from him?
Yeah. And I loved it when he said he went got all distracted and said, anyway, I beat Medicaid or Medicare or whatever. And Trump was like, you're right. You beat it to death. Like, ooh, well played. Trump did better this time than he has before because he let Biden speak.
Yeah.
Like almost like CNN. I swear CNN set this up on purpose to embarrass.
What
Biden
I
to get
saw
him to
was that
leave.
commentators were actually fairly objective and
Yeah.
very, very civil to both people. And they
Unless you
thought that
vote
this
Democrat,
format
then-
was going to benefit Biden, but I think in the end it really benefited Trump more.
How was muting Trump from interrupting Biden going to help Biden? It would have made Trump look boisterous and like he can't control himself. And now instead we heard Joe Biden stumble and mumble and bumble.
I got the next video or next
And fuck.
audio ready to play.
I was gonna say, I hope you have this next one loaded up because have you heard what Jill had to say to Joe after the debate?
No, I didn't. I heard she had to like go up on stage and drag him off and lead him away.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure he was wearing some kind of like exoskeleton thing because like to stand up for 90 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you see him walk off the stage, he like side shuffles down the stairs. He can't bend his legs. But what she said to him after, go ahead and play it. It's
And thank you
epic.
all
Sounds like
enough
she's
for
talking-
staying and for being here and for all your support. Joe, you did such
gonna
a
sound like
great
she's talking to
job.
a
You
toddler.
answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lie!
And he's so
You answered
expressionless.
every question.
No, he
You
didn't.
answered every question. So, no, he didn't. He wandered around and got confused. Jill, if you want to be president of the United States, fucking run.
Run.
Okay? Yeah, she could run too. And shit. All over the media, there have been prominent Democrats and media officials calling for Biden to step aside and let someone else take the nomination.
Yeah, that's gonna
I
backfire.
don't know
on
if
him.
you.
I don't want anybody else to take the
Joe-
nomination.
No,
I like
I
our
don't either.
chances
I want
better with
Joe to hold on.
Biden and running than a new person.
Well, who are they gonna do? Newsom?
No, I heard
Gretchen Whitmer? Shapiro.
Whitmer or the Pennsylvania governor.
That's Shapiro.
Shapiro.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do video again or not.
Yeah,
If I
sure.
can't, oh well. We like to be an audio show only. Anyway,
It sounds like it's working better.
yeah. Problem is we have so many fucking devices plugged in at all the time. I got three Fire Sticks hooked up, 2 cell phones, 2 computers,
You
and a
might have to
tablet.
turn some shit off while we're doing the show. It's prioritize that internet.
Yeah, in general, I'm gonna start shutting stuff off more often because I don't want to be eating up data just sitting there, eating up bandwidth, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You pay by
And when it comes
bandwidth?
to the Fire Stick,
Yeah, he's got HughesNet.
what's that?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
by
using a
bandwidth?
satellite.
Oh,
Well, I'm paying for so many megabytes at a certain speed, and then after that, it drops down to a slower speed.
Which
do
is
you
what
router
happened on our
just
last show.
do you router does it got like a 5G and 2.5G?
Not enough 5G towers around here.
No.
Like
You
I
you
can
could get out
go on the
like a wireless router, a 5G and a 2.5 gigahertz.
Oh, you're saying I can take the internet from the satellite and convert it into a 5G signal for the
Yeah, the
interesting.
yeah, like light bulbs and stuff like that. All you need is 2.5G for that. So I got like dual router, one wireless router, 5G and 2.5G, and I can different names on it, different passwords, and different networks. You know.
Oh, I see what you did.
I
You
just
took
have
your
a
network and
Wi-Fi
you
set up
split
for
it.
now. Yeah, I just have the 200 megabytes per second or something
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
that's
I'm
fine.
sorry,
That's fine. But you can like what equipment you want to put on and what networks. You can split after that into the two networks, 5G and a 2.5G. I would look into it.
slow. Yeah, use a slower one for like the televisions that I'm just streaming like Netflix.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, like yeah. Oh, this one you could do
Because
hardwire.
once I found out that uh, I only get so much data at the super fast speed,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I shut off the Wi-Fi on my phone because I sit outside on the porch anyway. I was like, I'll just use the 5G from the sky. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. That's what I do when I'm in Michigan a lot. Is my nephew has T-Mobile home internet, but most of the time the signal on my cell phone is better than the signal from his home internet, just because it's
Well,
one
I
device on
don't
there
get
compared to, a whole home network.
yeah. Well, the problem is I have a metal roof and it acts almost like a Faraday cage. I can't get signal to my phone of any sort inside the house. But once I step outside the house, I get 5G. So I mean, I sit on the porch or work in the yard all day anyway.
Uh-huh.
So I just switch over to 4G, 5G, and now I'm not eating up any of the bandwidth. Now the New York Times is calling for Biden to step aside, let
Mm.
someone else take the job. And this is a question: is do you think that'll happen, or do you think Joe Biden is too full of himself?
I don't think
Or
it's
Jill
Jill.
is too
I
full of
think
herself?
Jill is pushing him to keep running, and he'll just do whatever she says. But we all know
Yeah.
he is
You want
full of
some ice
himself.
cream?
So
Yeah, I mean, I love him hearing people say how racist Trump is, and they can't come up with an example besides a taco bowl. I'm like, okay, so you eat a taco bowl, you're racist. What about if you
what
say
about
we already
having
have
hairy
an N?
legs and corn
Well,
pop?
that's pedophile. Corn
Corn
pop.
pop.
I still think corn pop stepped in because Joe was diddling kids. Like, oh, rub my legs in the pool. And corn pop's like, hey, back off those kids. But Biden was the one who said we already have an N mayor. We don't need any more N's, N hotshots running around. And I don't want my kids to grow up in a jungle, a racial jungle. Like these are all quotes you can get from Biden, audio quotes. But, yeah, well, if you're interested in playing this the next audio thing, you don't have to, obviously, but the first bit of it has some interesting stuff about how the Democrats are losing their mind over Joe's performance, which, by the way, they're already
We're
starting to
sorry, this
recover and
video is not
coalesce
available.
around him again.
They took it down.
Of course, it's not.
They
Wall
took it
Street Journal,
down.
too.
They're gonna gaslight us.
All right. Yeah, well, obviously, the live debate we all watched, apparently that was a cheap fake that happened before our very eyes
Well, isn't that why
live.
they warned us about cheap fakes before the debate?
Well, it's funny because after the debate, Jake Tapper was like, this wasn't deceptive editing. We all saw what just happened. This was not good for President Biden at all.
No.
Who joins us now. Good to see
Oh,
you
it
this
was-
morning. Look, and as a Democrat,
Hey, you found
do
it.
you think that it is time for Biden to step aside in the wake of what we saw in the early hours of this morning?
I think this is somewhat of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, the media is loving this narrative. And frankly, I think Democrats are playing into it, including these advisors who are, including Congress members who want to be unnamed, saying that they want to have a divided open convention, which is, as the previous guest said, is very complicated based on the DNC's charters. You know, none of this was a surprise. Was this Biden's best performance? And Biden has a very good debate record. If you go back in history, he crushed it in the last several debates that he's done on stage. If you recall the one from when he was vice president against what's her name? I forgot her name already. The woman who was running with McCain. So
Sarah
he,
Palin.
you know, listen, I even blundered just now, and I am 40 years old. It was nothing that we didn't expect, but to play into the age and not focus on Trump's, the fact that he's caused so much instability in our country, the fact that he lied on stage, that the CNN
Because the
analysts
people
on
on the left
stage were not
riot
checking
when
in
he's
real
in
time and
office.
chose not to. Almost every single thing that came out of Donald Trump's
we don't need to
mouth
listen to all six
was
and a half minutes of
false.
this.
And that came through the fact.
That's not true at all. Trump put out some actual facts, and then Biden came behind and seriously lied his ass off. Like he brought up the good people on both sides thing.
Well, also Trump is
And-
famous for doing a lot of satire and stuff like that. And they keep
And hyperbole.
misquoting him. You know, that's where, he was making fun of the scientists when he said they were putting bleach in people's veins, and that would be a good treatment.
Well, that's not what he said. He said, "Can't we find some kind of disinfectant, almost like a bleach that we could use?" You're like, he's saying inject bleach in your vein. It's like, no, he said, "Can't we find something that'll kill this thing?"
Right.
No. How do they replace Joe if they want to on the ticket? Do they go with
he
an
can
open
step
convention,
down.
a contested? He could, but
He
they
can
could do it
step
by
down and
force
release his
too.
delegates, or they can do the contested convention. But like she was saying, that's really hard to get through because the super delegates don't even
Yep.
vote until the second round of voting.
Well, and that's the thing is the Democrats have a stupid way of nominating their pick.
Monopoly.
The Republicans actually do a primary.
Monopoly. They got a monopoly
Yeah.
with the run.
So, all right. Well, who would be president I'm sorry, who would get it, do you think? Because Newsom's name came up a lot, and I brought that up about
No, he's
6
out of the
months
running
ago.
now. He's shot himself in the foot too many times. He's not even in the running
Look at
currently.
California. Look at California. You want the entire country having human shit on the sidewalk? Do you want every business to flee the entire country because minimum wage is unbelievable? Yeah, everyone's losing their jobs because the businesses are leaving because you raise minimum wage so high, these companies can't make any money.
Yeah, I heard two possible people to replace him if something were to happen would be Michelle Whitmer, who coincidentally just
Oof.
they say she called up the administration and said, "You just lost Michigan."
Mm.
I would so
Yeah.
love it if the Dems lost Michigan.
I know they haven't in a long time.
Virginia's on the fucking plate too.
Yeah, we talked about that before
Yep.
you hopped on. So yeah, that's one reason why
Pennsylvania.
Trump's campaigning here, so much.
Mm.
Well, realistically, the only state that hasn't shifted to at least light red is California.
Oh yeah, and what about New York?
Everybody's Trump had more people show up to his rally than AOC, Bowman, and
That's
Sanders
true.
at the same
Yes.
time.
Mhm. But I heard it could, for
By a
Michelle
lot.
Whitmer or possibly the Pennsylvania governor
Shapiro.
Shapiro.
I heard Gretchen Whitmer's name come up. And I was like, ooh, yes, run Beetlejuice.
Yep.
That'll be even better than Biden run. Yes, do that.
Even
There you
McCarthy
go.
came out and said Biden is not going to step aside. So
No, and his wife makes all the decisions. Apparently, they all met. His family met up recently, and Hunter told him not to step aside.
I want to see if
I
I
don't know,
got
man.
audio for this next clip.
Man, what's this next one? Oberman.
Uh-huh.
Is that the one? All right. Well, the headline is while you're getting ready. Oberman leads left-wing meltdown against CNN, calling to
He
burn
actually
it
told
down
him
after
burn
Biden's
down the whole,
performance.
shut the place down and burn it down.
Yes, fire everyone and burn the place to the ground because they didn't suck his dick, Biden's dick enough. It blows my mind that the media pretended to be shocked by this. We've all seen Joe
on
for the last
CNN,
3.5
which it
years.
marketed as the CNN presidential debate. What you have seen is a debate with three participants: Joe Biden versus the tag team of Donald Trump and CNN. The decision to not fact check the fire hose of lies that is Donald Trump, that is the entirety of his existence and the entirety of his campaign, the decision to not fact check any one of those lies by CNN was one of the most immoral decisions in the history of the free press in this country. Literally, I am suggesting that at some point tonight, CNN should, it will not, go off the air in shame, fire everybody, seal off the buildings, make sure everybody's out, and burn the goddamn place to the ground. There was nothing in that entire coverage of that debate that suggested for a moment that the truth mattered to CNN. They answered none of Trump's lies, even the one promise that was made, that if Trump talked about the 2020 election and questioned the outcome, there would be pushback from Dana Bash and Jake Tapper, did not come to pass. CNN had set the bar for itself about here. It didn't even make to the top of the table. It was an extraordinary event. CNN not just
All right,
let
we heard
Trump...
enough of him. Main thing we wanted to talk about was lock up the building, fire everybody, shut her down, and burn her to the ground.
Well, they were talking about how Jake Tapper, for example, right? Did you see the CNN interview with Trump's press secretary?
No. Oh, I heard of. Yes, I heard about it where they shut down the interview and she's been told her she's been banned from the network.
Well, they didn't tell her she was banned. They said she could come back, but she simply said, "How are we going to get a fair debate? You can Google. Anyone can Google in 5 minutes what your colleague Jake Tapper has said about calling Trump Hitler."
Yeah.
And they're like, no, 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 no.
That
She's
didn't
full
happen.
of shit. She's making stuff up. It's like she didn't say anything. She said, go ahead and Google it. You
Yeah.
could find the video of it. But they refused to even have that out there before the debate. It was within 3 minutes that they booted her off and went back to the panel. It was all right, this is
And,
gonna be fair.
and they actually, when they did that, they brought more. They brought more attention to the actual story and made it a bigger story than it really was about. It made it about CNN, not about the debate.
Well, yeah, it was the Streisand effect. You by saying don't do this, don't look at it. Now everyone wants to go look at it. It went viral. And now the Biden campaign has been caught shutting down interviews at Biden rallies with the press because nobody is excited about Biden. They're having people go around following the press around like, stop this interview. If you're not talking good about Biden, this is not the place for it. Oh, okay. All right. Oh my God, man. I don't know how to I don't understand the cognitive dissonance some of these people have. Like the people that are still excited for Biden, or even better than that, the people that watch this debate and are now going, "Oh my God, I had no idea he was in that kind of mental state." It's like you've
Because
been
they don't
seeing this for
pay
years.
fucking
You've just,
attention.
well, you've been believing the bullshit the news has been giving you that this is a cheap fake. It's like that's a live video, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you not see him go? True national under pressure, bad gas can.
And I've heard that clip at so many different places lately. It's awesome. There's still that we aren't getting any rights. We're not getting paid for using it first, though. That's kind of disappointing. But
I don't think we
from
were
our
using
stuff.
it first, but they listened to our show and took our ideas,
Yeah.
right? Actually, it seems like that sometimes, though, doesn't it?
Sure does.
When we're like 3 weeks ahead or 6 months ahead of the talking points. And I believe that's why we always say that we're from the future, right?
Yep.
Speaking of, anyone listening for a good time about time travel, go to O'Reilly Auto Parts webpage, their official webpage, and I believe it's a 121G in the parts search. If it's what I think it is, it's a flux capacitor you can install into your car.
What?
So once you hit 88 miles an hour, you know. I left my ass off. I saw that the other day, and I actually looked it up. I was like, "Holy shit, it really is!"
How many of them do you
all
think
right.
they sell?
Well, they actually don't sell them anymore. They took them off the market, so probably not many, but it is still in their database.
Is it in AutoZone's database?
I
He's
doubt
not
it,
even
but
paying attention to the
O'Reilly.
show. I'm talking to our AutoZoner.
Sorry, what's that?
Can you get a flux capacitor at AutoZone like you can at O'Reilly's?
Let me see. I can check on that.
And a lot of people seem to think that because of the almost the theological dogma that the Democrats have, that they are stuck with Biden no matter what. But I think the Democrats are more opportunists than they are hardcore stuck in their ideology.
Uh-huh.
I think they'll cut him off as soon as they think they need to. That's just my opinion, but apparently MSN disagrees with me. I'm
No,
not even
somebody
sure.
from MS
See, that's a
disagrees with
problem,
you.
right?
I have
Well,
a hard time
are
believing
they going to
that.
run Joe or not? Are they going to run Joe or not?
They are.
They better, but I don't know because right now a whole
Do you
bunch of key
think, or what
Democrat
about
donors
this
and
conspiracy theory where since the Democrat convention is in Chicago, the Obamas make a reappearance onto the political scene?
what you think Big Mike's going to run?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I don't think
Big
so,
Mike
but
said
I
she
mean
didn't
that's
care.
about the only way they can keep Kamala from the top of the ticket by running another African
See, that's
American
the
female.
issues. Well, that's why Gretchen Whitmer is an option, right?
She's not
she's not a black woman.
African American descent.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, which one am I thinking of then? The one that looks like Beetlejuice
Oh, you're talking
from
about
Michigan,
fucking,
That's the mayor of
Lightfoot.
Chicago.
The old mayor.
Chicago. Yeah,
Yeah, Lightfoot.
Lori Lightfoot. Yeah,
Yep, Lightfoot.
You got your
Run
Lightfoot. Democrats mixed up.
Yeah, they all
Mm.
look alike.
It's not that hard to do, honestly.
No,
Gretchen Whitmer is the one that the FBI. I mean, they almost kidnapped her.
they had a thought during COVID because she had such weird lockdowns that the militia was coming to take her away.
Mm-hmm.
Was she the one who got her
Yeah.
hair did? When
No,
yeah, she went out and got her hair did
No, that was
when
Nancy
everyone was
Pelosi.
locked down. It's like,
Nancy
how'd you
Pelosi.
get? Oh, okay. See, they all
Yeah,
such
and
hypocrites.
see, they all
Like,
blend together because they all
do shitty
think they're
shit.
above the law.
No, Gretchen Whitmer
speaking
is
of
the one
above the
that
law, we'll get to that.
is the one that her husband was trying to go
Without-
boating in the boat.
That wasn't Gretchen Whitmer's husband.
Yeah.
He tried to use his wife's
Yeah, Pelosi-
name as governor to make it so he could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pelosi's husband was the one who got hammered.
Yep.
Literally
I'd
hammered.
Yes, beaten about the head with a hammer in his own home, which we suspected might have been a homosexual hookup in the middle of the night. Because who answers the door at
drug
2:30 in the
wrong.
morning?
Yeah.
Nobody.
All right. But yeah, a lot of the key donors in the Democrat Party, to include some big name Hollywood personalities, are saying they're going to pull their donations from the Dem Party if Biden doesn't resign.
That will hurt the process, definitely.
Yeah, if he has no money to campaign on. Now, see, I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more of these prominent personalities come out pro-Trump since this, you know?
You've seen a few, but not
A handful, but
ton.
typically between the same guys that have been. I don't know. Should be very interesting. And I love it. The question that these folks are asking is, how stupid do they think we are? They think you're very fucking stupid because you've been buying this shit for years and you've been eating it and going, filet mignon, when
Yeah,
it was
well,
a pile of dog shit.
people are stupid, dude. They're easy to manipulate.
Well, yeah, I mean, just think how stupid the average person is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now realize that half the population is dumber than that to
Right.
make it the average.
Mm.
I don't know. Anyone who doesn't understand that food doesn't just appear at the supermarket. Well, here we go. Here's a thought experiment. That Brian, if you did not eat breakfast yesterday,
Okay.
how would you have felt? Give me an answer.
Hungry.
Okay, guapo.
Mm.
If you did not eat breakfast yesterday, how would you have felt?
Same.
And
I mean,
same,
like,
okay.
yeah, hungry. Yeah,
You could at least that means you're above a first order thinker. Because when you speak to first order thinkers, that means they can't think of more in depth. And they said, "But I did eat breakfast yesterday." And it's like, no, but that's not the question.
That's
I'm
not
asking
the
you.
question.
You put emotion on it. I know what type of people do that. Like, hold up, but I did.
Yeah, you do, don't you? And you know they vote Biden because they can't think 5 years in the future, 2 years in the future. They hear free shit. It's like, well, where's the free shit gonna come from? It's like, for shit to be free, you have to take it from someone else.
Yeah.
The government cannot give to you what it did not first take from someone else.
Right.
Well, the
I
government
love when I hear these
make
people,
it
oh, there's all these
money.
empty houses. Let's just put the homeless in them.
The money,
Go
the
ahead.
government can print money. Let's do that.
Every dollar they print makes the dollar in your pocket worth less.
Did I tell you about my Walmart incident with the lady? We were both looking
No.
at
Tell me.
prices, and she's like, "Why so expensive?" Oh, because of inflation.
Oh my god.
She's like, I know, but why so expensive? I just told you the
Like,
answer,
you don't.
and you just
So
didn't accept it.
she doesn't. She knows the word, but doesn't know what it means.
Yes,
And that's the thing is, this woman will vote.
probably. Yeah. I didn't say nothing afterwards. Like, oh, okay. Just why bother?
What drove me, what's bothering me a little bit is I've had a bunch of stuff delivered recently. Like my house, I had delivered from Massachusetts, basically.
Mm-hmm.
New appliances. I just got a giant deep freeze that's bigger than my refrigerator.
Nice.
Delivered yesterday. Yeah, washer dryer came recently. Uh, the problem is I don't carry cash anymore. It's just for the most part not necessary.
Yeah.
And these guys are doing like physical labor for me.
You need to tip
I
them.
like to tip.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I like to tip. I was like, fuck, I don't have cash.
Hold on.
I must have given out $300 worth of silver in tips because I just tossed everybody an ounce of silver now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And one dude was like, "Holy shit, I'm having steak tonight." And the other guy's like, "Oh, that's neat. I'll give it to my kids." Like, I don't think you understand what that's worth right now, dude. Like,
You're
that's
not
a
giving
bigger
to your
tip than you would have gotten
kids.
cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's big. That's worth more than the cash you would have gotten as a tip for real.
Mm.
But yeah, man, I've been dwindling down my silver supply, tossing freaking ounces at people because I just haven't
Mm.
had cash to tip with, and
You might want to take some cash out of the
it's
bank.
this. That's the problem.
Hey,
I can't find a
so
fucking ATM, and there's my bank isn't around here. The only way I can get cash is by going to like the supermarket and saying, "I want $30 cash back."
Okay.
You know, it's yeah. And typically, I don't carry cash because I mean, if I get robbed, at least I can cancel my cards. You know what I mean?
Uh,
All right.
but it's good to carry cash. I
Uh,
mean, have cash on the house because if power goes out, we need fuel. If you don't got like small bills too, fives, ones, and tens. Nothing over 20.
I always carry hundreds.
Okay, but yeah, like for keeping the house, like at least
mm,
$500 cash, like that. When power goes out, at least you could go buy fuel and stuff like that. You know, we had that
I
issue
know what
here
you
in
mean.
Portugal.
Well, here's the thing: when you say power goes out, I have a whole house generator
Hmm.
and a 300-gallon tank of propane to feed it.
No, that's fine though. But I'm talking about like commercial stores and stuff like that. You can at least pay cash,
Yeah,
right? So let me go.
yeah, I can at least buy some groceries, typically speaking, because
Yeah.
especially where I am, power goes out doesn't mean it's gone in the community because like I'm on the top of a fucking mountain, you know?
Hmm.
I am in the wilderness. No. Well, let's move on to the Nazis.
All right. Those big bad Nazis.
Well, apparently a whole bunch of these pro-Palestine folks surrounded a synagogue and even got into fights with some of the local Jews over this. And Biden came out and was like, that's not okay. I don't know, man. You've been telling everyone it's been okay for a while to do this in
Yeah.
colleges.
Yeah. You encouraged it.
And then he said something about how, yeah, and he said something how you can't shut down a house of worship. And I was like, you shut down all the churches in the fucking country during COVID. You wouldn't even let people congregate outside, social distance with masks on to hold mass, but you allowed people to riot in the streets. And this is the shit that's driving me nuts because these, I guess Democrats is the right word. They have such short memories.
Yeah, they don't remember
They
shit.
just they brain dumped all that shit, and they look around like, oh, my life sucks. I wonder why. No, let's vote Biden again. I lost my job because minimum wage went through the fucking roof in California, and I'm not allowed, it's oh my God. And you just keep voting for the same people, wondering why the shit gets worse and worse. Like
Right.
you said, Guapo, lady was, I understand it's inflation, but why is it expensive? It's like, that's what inflation is. Your dollar
Yeah.
is worth less.
You keep asking to print more stuff, get more free stuff, and eventually somebody had to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. And instead of this company paying for it by giving it to the people or having it stolen from them by the government just goes ahead and prints money and steals it from literally everyone at the
Or
same
to
time.
make fucking more government jobs and like, oh, we got more fucking government jobs
Yeah,
created.
that's where the money's at. Government jobs.
Yeah, because you got fucking
Oh, and
government
this is
jobs.
what's driving me nuts. I keep hearing Biden say, "Oh, they had record profits this year." That proves that it's greedy companies that are raising the prices and not, inflation. It's like, no, they had record profits because the dollars are worth more, so more of them had to come in to represent the same fucking value, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Like I have, let's say I produce a bar of gold a month, okay? As the dollar inflates, my bar of gold is worth more dollars every month. So I'm making, quote, more money every month, but I can still only buy the same number of loaves of bread.
Right.
And people don't understand. This is the really pisses me off is because you should have to pass a basic test to be
You know
able to
where
vote.
you know where I learned inflation from? DuckTales. The cartoon.
And that's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up, Guapo, because I brought DuckTales as an example before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Scrooge McDuck, but I always think DuckTales. How
Yeah.
they said, "Oh, we'll just tax the billionaires. They're worth this much money." And it's like, do you think they have a giant Scrooge McDuck money bin full of fucking cash
No,
of,
it's
what,
investment.
$5 billion in it? No, they own companies. They don't have the cash on hand.
Right.
And even if we taxed every billionaire in this country at 100% of their net value, it wouldn't pay the fucking interest off of our debt. This is something that has to be taken seriously.
Yeah, eliminate no government
Mm.
jobs.
I say we fire most of the government. We don't need most of it. Like, why do we have a DOE?
Well, we got an ATF. Oops.
Like, for real, why do we have a Department of Education?
I know.
Huh?
The state should be responsible for that.
The state should do all of this shit. The Constitution doesn't give the federal government the authority to do most of this shit.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back on track here. They got a new White House official, I guess, who just deleted a shit ton of his tweets for saying some pretty extreme stuff.
Yep.
Did the White House not vet this guy before they hired him, or were they cool with his anti-Semitic views and
They're
pro,
probably cool
not
with
just
his
pro-Palestine,
anti-Semitic views
pro-Hamas?
as long as the public doesn't find out about them,
My God. Hmm. All right. Well, this next one here, the left-leaning fact checker one,
Uh-huh.
is actually Snopes.
Yeah,
Snopes.
Snopes came out
And
like a
this
week or
happened.
so ago and said that Trump never said that. Surprise,
Yeah,
surprise.
the problem is it was 7 years ago, and the whole time they were saying he did.
And people have
Very
a
fine
short
people on both
memory.
sides.
Don't remember. And even Trump brought this up in the debate that the fact checker,
It-
because Biden was still trying to say it in the debate, and Trump had to say no. Even Snopes came out and said this was false. What were his planners doing? They weren't giving him the information that he needed to look halfway decent during the debate.
I think they may well have, but he wasn't allowed to speak to his aides and everyone during the debate. He wasn't, and I think he just fell back to 2020 mode.
Well, I don't think they
and
put him on
his
the right
brain doesn't
drugs
work.
either.
No, I think they gave instead of giving him the uppers they should have. I think they accidentally gave him a lobotomy.
Hmm.
That's where they take out a piece of your brain, of your frontal lobe. Yeah, but the very fine people, it took 7 years. Even Jake Tapper covered this on his coverage on CNN. And Biden brought it up, and Trump had to be like that. No, that's been debunked. It's out there for everyone to see.
Yeah.
And even says CNN even covered this. All right. Oh, here we go. What's up in New York with Soros and teachers, which is hilarious because isn't Soros? I'm gonna say it's hilarious. Isn't Soros Jewish?
I thought
George
he
Soros.
was.
Yes, he is.
Mhm.
He is, but he's also the one who sold out his own family to the Nazis to save himself during the war. So I mean, let you know how much that means to him.
That means nothing.
So what's going on with these teachers in New York? I guess no one else reads these articles besides me, huh?
I thought that they were paid to be there.
These teachers were given a ton of money.
Just pretend like a walkout happened.
Yeah, to stage these walkouts. And first of all, what the fuck do you think your protest at a fucking school campus, high school, college, whatever? How the fuck do you think that's going to affect?
It's gonna make people not
E.
want to attend there because several schools that have had these protests going on for the last year, I can't figure out why their enrollment for freshman years are down, and now they got to lay off teachers.
Good.
Oh, did you see the did you see the Saturday Night Live sketch with oh shit, the Keenan from Keenan and Kel. He was talking like, oh yeah, these kids should be protesting. That's their rights. That's what that's what they're there to do. And then like, well, what do you think about your daughter and getting involved? And he goes, wait a minute, what? He's like, bitch, you better sit your ass back down in class. This is costing me a ton of money to pay for your dorm at school. He's like, if you get kicked out of school over this shit.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
I was like, even Saturday Night Live is making fun of him now.
You know that's something when that
took him long enough. It really is, because they were on cover for Biden for a long time and still shitting on Trump. And it's fine if you don't like Trump. You don't have to Trump. But here's the question is, why do we have a choice, South Park, between a giant douche and a shit sandwich? Like, where's the 42-year-old running for office? No, instead we got a couple of octogenarians.
Yep.
Oh, and Colombia was a big deal in all these protests and everything. University, not the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have suspended 3 administrators who, during a meeting about what are we going to do about these violent protests, these idiots were texting each other back and forth, talking shit about the Jews and saying how they deserve it and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you've been calling people Nazis for 7 years now.
Yeah.
And you're saying go ahead and kill the Jews. Like, I think some of these assholes should open up a fucking history book.
Exactly.
Because this is ludicrous. That you're gonna call someone a Nazi, then go ahead and say, fuck the Jews. They're in control of everything anyway. It's like, what? What?
Sure they
And
are.
what the fuck does a Jewish student at a college in New York have to do with fucking Israel in the Middle
Nothing.
East?
Not a damn thing.
For the love of God, that's like say, I don't know, I can't come up with a good example about Catholicism, but that's because Christianity hasn't done a holy war in what 800 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Fuck. All right. Even Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo was the governor who was grabbing fannies and killing grannies, right?
Yep.
Okay. That was the name of one of our episodes, by the way. That was pretty good. Even he is coming out. Even he came out and said that Alvin Bragg is definitely
out of bounds,
definitely politically motivated with his prosecution of Trump in New York. Who's the Indian man on CNN, their legal advisor, who said that if his name wasn't Trump and he wasn't running for president, he wouldn't be charged with this?
Andre Gupta?
I want to say not Gupta. He's the doctor, not the lawyer.
I forgot.
Anyway, I can't come up with his name. I want to say Vivek Ramaswamy, but he's the Republican guy.
You're gonna have to watch more CNN to figure it out.
No, it hurts so much. CNN's trying to save their ass. That's why they stopped doing this running cover for Biden, though. Like, even your average citizen is starting to realize this shit ain't right.
Right.
You know, and then the debate, they're like, oh fuck, we can't even do anything to cover this up. All right. Well, while we're on the court system for a little while here, SCOTUS said that it is now acceptable to ban homeless camps because
Mm.
California has been used as an example for a long time to allow these tent cities to exist.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, you don't have a place to stay. What are you supposed to do besides sleep on the sidewalk? But if there's a space in the shelter, go to the shelter.
Yeah.
Well,
We
a lot of
can't have
people
people
don't like shelters because there's,
because they won't let you do
there's
drugs.
rules.
Yes. So you decide to stay out here and commit criminal acts, arrest them. Sit in jail for a little while. Maybe you'll sober up and clean up. I mean, that's what we do for people that are drunk, right? We just put them in the holding cell for the weekend.
Yeah.
They
8
sober up and
hours.
go, well, that sucked, and don't do it again.
8 hours.
Well, depending on the situation, but yeah.
Yeah. I know.
And this next one, the Schneider decision, I believe is what it's called. Or it was about the Chevron thing, the Chevron
Chevron
versus
deference. They
Department of.
talked about it a lot on the
Yeah,
No Agenda show.
here you go. Set up for it. I'm going to urinate. Now go ahead and tell us
There's
all about what
basically
happened and
the Supreme Court ruling way back
ATF in
when
general.
that made it so the Congress could write vague laws, and government agencies had the authority to interpret those laws to best meet their needs. The problem with that is these government agencies don't really have the authority that they think they have, and have kind of been superseded this authority, over the years when Congress gave up their right to do it. And the Supreme Court ruling came back and said that if anybody's going to interpret law, it should be the judicial branch, not an unelected branch of the government. What do you say about that, El Guapo?
I like it. So there's a sweeping rule that goes all this regulation the ATF, ETA, FBI come up with.
Yeah, it's going to really affect the EPA, and that's why everybody said, "Well, hope you enjoyed your last days of clean drinking water," because the EPA rules are all going out the window, because of this.
No, it means the EPA is no longer allowed to make their own fucking laws and interpret shit their own way.
That's what I said. That the Congress decides to write these vague laws, and then let these government agencies dictate what the laws actually are, mainly because
they're too lazy to fucking do it.
Yeah, and then but the Supreme Court basically said no. If anybody's going to interpret law, it's us. The judicial branch should be the branch interpreting law. And defining
look at what
law.
happened with the ATF with the bump stocks and pistol braces, and the Supreme Court had to come and be like, "No, you guys don't get to fucking just change what the law is because you decided you didn't like it anymore." Like, oh well, we're gonna interpret this a different way now. It's like, no, you can't do that, buddy.
Right.
Oh my God.
And how many people have sat in prison over these things? And now they're like, oh yeah, they can't do that anymore. It's like, well, I've been in jail for 10 years. That sucks for me.
Oh.
Yeah, now a lot of people are certain that's because they're fucking morons and listen to CNN and MSNBC.
Yeah.
That the Supreme Court's is trying to take apart the American democracy.
We'll get to that in another article here with AOC. So, but they do say that because the Supreme Court came out yesterday with their final court case of the term that said, surprise, surprise, the President of the United States does have liability or immunity on most things he does as President of the United States. But if they did, so now the lower court has to determine if this is for January 6th, whether or not there's anything to try Trump on And this is both for January 6th and for Jack Smith. So it's going to hurt both those cases. And it's going to free a lot of people
Jack
out
Smith?
that were already convicted and stuff. You know, we're in the process of being convicted.
Who's Jack Smith?
He is the independent counsel / DOJ representative that is trying Trump in Mar-a-Lago for all those classified documents he had at Mar-a-Lago, but also they decided I think it's the same guy decided that Biden wasn't going to be prosecuted because he's too old and doddering.
Wasn't that her?
Oh yeah, it was her.
Well,
Yeah,
her made the suggestion. Mayorkas was the one who ultimately decided not to try him, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of, oh, by the way, this is tobacco, obviously, right?
Yeah. That's what you smoke.
It's definitely tobacco in this pipe.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Nothing else. Speaking of the Mayorkas shit, though, actually, I think it's in here somewhere, so maybe I shouldn't go into it. I thought it was, maybe not. I thought there was something about, interesting. Well, anyway, he the Republicans now are well, they tried to hold him in contempt of Congress and put him in jail, and they just said no. And now they're going to well, I can't remember what the term is. Well, what they're going to do is basically, or at least talking about, is authorizing the sergeant at arms in Congress to go to his Mayorkas' house and arrest him. Because he won't turn over her interview with Biden.
Right.
Oh, you mean Garland?
Oh, yeah, and the DOJ
Well,
said they were not going to do that. So they said that wasn't a
isn't
thing.
Steve? Well, that's why the Congress has their own person to do it. But didn't Steve Bannon report to jail yesterday
Yes, he
for
did.
contempt of Congress?
Uh-huh. And
Isn't
conveniently,
Navarro
he's
in
going to get
jail?
out right before the election.
Right before the convention. Yeah, the election. And isn't Navarro in jail right now for contempt of Congress?
Yes.
He was also a Trump guy.
Well, that's how when they realized they couldn't get to Trump, they started going after his closest allies.
Yeah, and geez, it's almost like they're targeting their political opponents. Like they keep accusing Trump that he's going to do should he become president. And I hate to say it, man. Maybe not necessarily political enemies, but the people that are truly corrupt, and we can prove it. I say lock them the fuck up. I've had enough of this garbage. Where are my dollars going? Right?
Yeah.
Like what? Why the fuck? Why the fuck are you taking money out of my paycheck and sending it to fucking Ukraine or Palestine and Israel at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Fuck you. Fix my fucking roads. Reduce the cost of everything else. You know what? You can bring the gas price down by restocking the fucking oil reserve that Biden dumped to try to bring prices down real quick to look good. What's he going to do before this election to bring gas prices down? He already dumped the oil reserve.
There's nothing
And here's
he
the
can do
problem
at
is
this
if
point.
Trump goes and tries to, and if Trump refills it, how much is that going to cost? We're going to have to wait 2.5 years for his economic policies to kick in. Speaking of, during the debate, the futures market started soaring once they realized Trump was crushing Biden in this election.
Yeah.
And we keep hearing now a depression, a recession, maybe a depression will show if Trump is elected. But as soon as people thought he might get elected, the market started surging right away. It's like, no, it's literally the opposite. People want Trump back in charge so they can make fucking money.
Right.
Sorry, I went kind of ranty there. It's been a while since I've ranted like that.
That's good. what people watch the show for.
Yeah. You need to start ranting more. And now Trump is asking for everyone who's arrested for the J6 shit to be let out, which I agree for a handful of reasons. Something just happened in the Supreme Court that, oh, yeah, we go. The January 6th prosecutors. There you go. I'm sorry, I was taking the leak when you talked about it.
Yeah, and then this
Um,
the Trump hush money thing that he's been convicted on, the prosecuting attorneys agreed to delay sentencing so that Trump's lawyers have time to submit their information. Then they're going to said that
the
they're going
paperwork.
to look at it for 2 weeks, and then they'll make a determination after that. So it'll be
Here's
August.
the problem: is Mershant.
Yes.
The problem with that is Mershant gets to make that decision,
Okay.
not the the prosecutor. So he didn't. He said he wasn't necessarily against it, and he would consider it. So we're still waiting for a decision.
Right.
But
Yeah, because
defense asked for it. Prosecution said we have no problem with that. It sounds like it should happen once you got something up your ass and don't like this guy, right?
Right. Which we know he does.
We know he does, but you can't show everyone that you do. You know?
No, then you kind of
And with all this
lose
stuff
your
that's going on,
credibility of being a judge.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, he obviously just hates this guy. And now AOC is so butthurt about the Supreme Court lately that she's going to file articles of impeachment against individual justices.
good luck with that.
Sonia Sotomayor, what possibly the most left justice there is, was on the conservative. It was on the side of presidential immunity. However, Amy Coney Barrett voted against it. What's going on there?
Well, she's obviously not as reliable conservative. She's a free thinker. What can you kind of what we want
was
from
actually
a
just
Supreme Court justice?
exactly where I was going to go with that was she thinks first of all, I think she's absolutely wrong. The president 100% has immunity while performing the duties of the president of the United States.
Right.
Otherwise, we could put every other president in the last 100 years in prison right away. I mean, how many times we mentioned Obama killed Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki,
probably
an
hundreds of
American
times on the show.
16-year-old American citizen. He blew him up overseas with a fucking drone without a trial. And here's the best part: he wasn't even the fucking target. His father was. And when he was questioned about it, his response was, "Well, he should have had a better father."
That's a bullshit
And
thing to
all
say.
all I could think was, first of all, fuck you. You're gonna kill this kid because his dad sucks. The sins of the father carry on to the son. Then we're all fucked, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's why Christianity even has a baptism, is to literally wash away the sins of our before we were born. But there you go. There you go. Anyone who wasn't quite didn't put it all together. It's a metaphor how you are not responsible for things that happened before you. Just like I don't owe anyone any fucking 40 acres or a mule. Don't get me wrong. I feel bad. These poor folks were taken advantage of like that and were not given what they were promised. But why do I have to give it to them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just sounds like a really good way to waste a ton of money trying to make everything right for stuff that happened before anyone involved was born.
Kind of like reparations.
And speaking of, that's literally what I meant by 40 acres and a mule, dude. That was what they were promised as reparations.
Well, Trump just did a rally in
right.
an unusual area. He went, well, not really.
Yeah, he's going to take
He did one
Pennsylvania.
in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in one of the worst neighborhoods in New York City. And now he went to
Then
a
went to
very tough
Chesapeake.
neighborhood in Philadelphia.
Okay, Chelsea is not particularly rough, but it's not exactly Trump country. Chelsea, Virginia. I'm sorry, Chesapeake.
Right. Well, he also did a
But
rally in
he don't forget, he
Philadelphia
went to
recently
Chesapeake.
where they got cheesesteaks and everything.
I was just gonna say, that's where I was going. Was he did Chesapeake on the way to Philadelphia?
Ah, okay. All
Uh,
right.
and yeah, so like these are all things that wouldn't necessarily be the spots you'd expect to see Trump.
No, not at all. Because a lot of people would say he's
And he's
wasting his
talking about
time and
how
his money by going there because, Philadelphia has voted 99% Democrat for like the last 200 years.
and it's a lot of people said that about going to the LNC, Libertarian National Committee
Yep.
thing. They're because they already have their president selected, their nominee,
I think Trump had something to say about that too.
the convention. Yo, he went to it and
Yeah,
spoke,
and in his speech he talked about
and it was fucking.
Don't waste your vote.
Oh, it
Vote
was
for
hilarious
me.
though. He's like, you can waste your vote. He's like, you can vote for me to help turn things around for you because I am more like the libertarian than anyone else out there. He's like, or you can waste your vote and get your 3% again. And I was like, oh, that's a good burn.
Yep.
And then I
Sure
don't know
was.
what happened really, but somehow the libertarians somehow nominated. I can't remember the asshole's name, but he's a piece of shit. He says, okay, the government should not be able to mandate vaccines, but a business should. And I understand the libertarian philosophy behind that. But the government puts their fucking boot on every business's neck when they want to. And now, effectively, you're forcing drugs into my body by allowing these people to force drugs into my body.
Right.
He was, I think he was pro-divorce and something else. I don't know. He's a terrible fucking candidate, and I swear they picked him on purpose to chase off all the libertarians from the Libertarian Party because they know they're going to vote Trump instead of Biden. Or what people were worried about was RFK, but the libertarians have no interest in RFK Jr. like at all. And yeah, Biden would lose it would help Trump a lot to get the libertarian vote, but he was actually asking for their nomination, like multiple party nominations. And he actually promised to put a libertarian in the cabinet if they made him his nominee. And he said he still might anyway if he thinks he gets their vote.
Hmm.
Which
That
I think
wouldn't
it would be
surprise me at
hilarious
all.
if he puts. It would make. I think it would be hilarious if he put a libertarian in charge as the secretary of the Department of Education, and then just eliminated the Department of Education. He's like, what does the United States have to be involved in this with? Why can't Massachusetts teach their kids? Virginia teach their kids? Omaha teach their kids?
Yeah.
Nebraska teach their kids? Especially with this No Child Left Behind bullshit they've been doing with the Department of Education.
Mhm.
They put pretty names on this shit, don't they?
Oh yeah.
But this basically
Affordable
says you're
Care
not going to get
Act,
left behind.
Yeah.
Well, the debt relief program or whatever it was.
Yeah. Inflation Reduction Act.
Or Inflation Reduction Act. That's
They're good at branding. That's what they're
but
good
they
at.
call it. They call it, yeah, but they call it No Child Left Behind. But realistically, what it means is you can't leave a kid behind a grade. They have to graduate on time no matter what. And I was like, you're not doing these kids any favors by sending them out into the fucking world when they literally cannot read or
Right.
can't do simple mathematics in their head. You're not doing them a single favor by sending them out into the work world like that. Like you are leaving them behind for the rest of their fucking life.
Right.
It's always driven me nuts because it was so obvious when I saw. I was like, wait a minute, this kid literally just gets like stoned and doesn't bother paying attention. He's going to graduate just like me. I'm like, well, yeah, but you could go to school. I was like, yeah, but what if I don't want to go to school? Then they're like, well, do you want to be able to do anything in your life, or do you want to go, huh? And have to work at a drive-through window forever? I was like, oh,
Drive-through
okay.
window.
I could get
Yeah,
$20
the
an
problem is
hour.
when well, the thing is, you can get by on work at the drive-through window. Don't get me wrong, but the problem is, you're never ever going to get ahead and you're going to work the rest of your life till the day you die.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be nice to have at least a couple years that you can go, shh, you know what? It's getting tough. I'm just going to take the last couple of years off before I die, let alone if you get to take 20 years, you know?
Well, that's what Social Security's for.
Fuck you twice, buddy. It's going to be gone in 9 years, and you know this.
That means I won't get any.
We're not replacing our population quickly enough to pay. Actually, I say that we're not replenishing our population, period.
Sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
That means there's no one well, it's an inverted. Well, Social Security definitely is. You need more people each generation to pay for the generation before, especially as the dollar inflates. You need more people to do it, even if you only maintain your population. You cannot maintain your population because of inflation.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a scheme.
It has to get bigger.
It's a scheme.
Yeah, the problem is now Biden borrowed from Social Security, and there's no money left. And why the fuck am I paying into it? Like, we brought this up, Brian. This might have been before we even did a video on this show. We were just doing it on your phone in the backyard.
Yeah.
I remember us having a conversation saying, why can't I just opt out of Social Security? Like, I refuse to pay into it. I am not allowed any benefits from it in the future. I think I can do better with my money than the federal government can. Like, we brought this up forever ago. Like, shit, right? It's like 20 years ago.
Yep.
Why couldn't we just opt out and sign something? I don't pay Social Security taxes. I am not eligible for Social Security benefits.
Then it's everybody's gonna start bailing out. So yeah, they're not gonna let you do that.
Let them bail out. That means nobody wants the shit. We should throw it in the trash because it's just costing us a ton of money and it's not going to be there when we need it.
Yeah.
That's like putting all your money in a duffel bag and hiding it under your fucking bed. But then the house burns down. It's just gone. All right. Sorry. Get us back on topic here. Apparently, non-binary personnel are necessary for national security.
To say.
Excuse me?
I wonder how many founding fathers were non-binary.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, later.
All right, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
What the how even if you're completely accepting of somebody, and don't give a fuck about any of that shit, how is it necessary for national security to have more non-binary personnel in the military?
It's not. It's completely irrelevant.
Yes. And I believe if we want to play this who hates whom card, who was the president who had the policy of don't ask, don't tell for the military?
Who put it in place? President Clinton.
Yes. Yes, it was. It wasn't Bush who said, you can be gay, just don't tell anyone you're gay. Because that was Clinton.
Right.
And remember, Obama was against same-sex marriage at first.
Until his vice president came out and said otherwise.
Yes, he did. Yes. But he said, I believe marriage should be between one man and one woman. And then he was married to Big Mike. And here's the thing about Michelle Obama is she said she doesn't like the campaigning of politics and being involved in everything all the time. But it seems like she likes that power. So I could see her stepping in at the convention, throwing her hat in the ring to see if she just gets the nomination and never had to campaign. You know what I mean? Like never had to put herself out there. Just people going to go by on her image as it is now. Because like that might be effective. and then she gets to be president. But the problem is, she'd be in front of cameras all the time and have
She doesn't
trying
want the
and having to do
spotlight
some
like
real
that.
shit.
She's loving the life she's got right now.
That, and can you imagine trying to figure out how to unfuck what's going on right now? We got two wars we're paying for right now. Uh, uh, Americans can't buy gasoline or a gallon of milk.
Can't afford it.
We got millions of uh, people just crossing across the border, just walking in and saying, "Give me benefits." We're kicking our veterans out of shelters to put these criminal migrants in the name of tolerance, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
How would you unfuck all these things, dude? That's a lot of shit to try to unfuck.
A
Violence is
lot.
already getting out of control. I'm just saying, I do not envy whomever has to have that job because that job is gonna suck, dude.
Right.
I mean, it sucks anyway. Trying to pull your head out of your ass on this one's gonna be real tough. I like this next one. It's what constitutes a border crisis. Was it sanctuary cities have found out? And I think that's hilarious because how many times have we said on the show the classic, new classic, fuck around and find out, right? The
Yeah.
amount you fuck around is directly proportional to how much you find out. You fuck around this much, you find out this much. And they fucked around migration. And now like all these sanctuary cities that invited everyone in is begging for the government funds and
Yeah,
the
the government
presidential
funds will
help.
get shut down if Trump becomes president.
Yeah, and then you say you invited them in, you figure it out, right?
Uh-huh.
What I need to see to make me excited about a president is one who wants to return to saying the United States are versus the United States is. I know that's a small distinction, but if you understand what it means, you understand my point.
Yeah.
It should be 50 independent states that come together for national defense. And then each state gets to do whatever the fuck they want within the confines of the Constitution of the United States of America. The federal government shouldn't be giving states funding to raise the drinking age to 21.
Right.
I don't understand why they're doing that. I don't understand the smoking cessation programs the federal government's doing. Now I understand why they're doing some of these things, but it's not their fucking place.
No.
You're taking money from everyone to set these fucking programs up. It needs to be ripped apart, dismantled, thrown in the fucking toilet, shat upon, and then flushed down into the septic tank.
Yep.
And sit there and stew in shit for 2 years. What could we be doing with the money? Fuck, check this out. We sent almost as much money to Ukraine since Russia stepped foot on Ukrainian soil than we have in Israel in the last 50 years.
Oh yeah, that was another thing that President Trump brought up during the debate. He said that every time Zelensky shows up in the U.S., he leaves with $60 million.
Yeah. And it's just driving me nuts. Why the fuck do we care what's going on in Ukraine? And don't give me this. I know you won't, but I keep hearing, oh, Putin won't stop. I was like, what makes you think that? He's made it very clear what he wants, and it makes sense. I personally wished he had tried to purchase the land from Ukraine, or even set up a sweet trade deal because of it, and obtain the land, because this could have worked out beneficial for everybody. But instead, they're fucking killing each other, and it's on your and mine dime. So no, I'm not saying Putin's a good dude. I'm saying it's perfectly clear that he wants a strip of land from Russia down to the Crimean Peninsula to gain access to his warm water port
Yeah.
Navy base, right?
Yep.
And you say, well, he shouldn't have Crimea. It's like, well, he didn't even have to fight for Crimea. They just said it's mine under Obama's reign, and it was theirs.
Right.
So Obama lost Crimea. Biden is losing Donbass. No conflict in Ukraine under Trump. Yeah. Oh my God. Wow, we got way off topic. We fucking ranting again. This tobacco pipe, it's got me ranting. Oh, okay. You move out of state, right? But your kid's
Yep.
name is still in the school registry. Okay. It happens, right? A
Well,
lot.
that's how the school systems get money from the federal government is by the amount of people they got in the school system.
Exactly. And the problem is California just got paid $4 billion for quote ghost students, kids that aren't going to school there. They got $4 billion. What the fuck, dude? Was it 400,000 kids? Or almost 401,000 students that don't go to school there, they got paid for. And by the way, those numbers, 400,000 students were handed $4 billion from the federal government. Think about that for a minute. How much money is that per student?
I don't want to do the math.
No. Well, we'll say 400,000, 4 billion. That's a lot of zeros to remove. But it's $110 million a student. You're telling me it costs, let's fuck that. Fuck that. Let's just even say $1 million because that's way less. You need
Right.
$1 million a year to educate a fucking student from K through 12.
Sure shouldn't
Fuck
need
you.
it.
Just give the kid $1 million.
Yep. Let them educate themselves.
Seriously, 4 billion to 400,000. That's three decimal places, sort of. Well, yeah, it's like $100 million. Oh my God. That's like $100 million a kid. Hope I'm wrong. I hope I am just a little buzzed and should be saying 10 million, but even so, $10 million a student, $1 million a student is ridiculous every year.
Right.
How much are you paying the fucking staff that you need $1 million a student?
Everybody's getting paid too much if that's the case.
Yeah, because we got what hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students. All right. Yeah, you kidding me? I will make up a fake school and have 3 kids in it for that kind of money. You know what I mean? I will
Uh-huh.
have ghost students too if they're gonna pay me that much money to teach kids. Are you fucking kidding me? Who do I gotta pay off to open up a fake school? Anything you want to dig into with the leftovers?
No, I don't
That's
think so. I
cool.
mean, we can easily carry it over to
Yeah,
Saturday.
we've been pretty actively talking for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
over an hour and a half, having a good time. Once we got the show up and running.
Yeah, well, I
All right,
was
well,
on the boat, maybe smoking a little tobacco.
well, it also took us a little while to get the show actually moving again. Because like, why the fuck can't I stream it live?
Yeah, because Facebook changed the rules.
Well, that and I apparently have to be the host to go live to YouTube.
Yeah.
Which oh, by the way, here we go, Brian. Before we do leave and chew up your music for the exit,
I
what
believe.
happened with this copyright claim? We got hit with
I
another
don't know.
copyright claim.
I just ignored it. Let them take the February 24th Facebook live feed off Facebook. I don't give two shits. People ain't gonna watch it. And I watched the whole thing. I scanned through it. I couldn't figure out what 30 seconds of our music was it. So it wasn't our normal intro or outro music. I know that. So
I was saying, because we've been hit on that before. It's like, no, we purchased it. And like, oh, okay. It's like, what the fuck? You just assumed that we didn't own the rights to it.
Yeah.
All right, well, you got our music ready?
No.
Before we roll out, just everyone remember the Surgeon General just issued the first ever gun violence warning. The Surgeon General. Anyway, Brian, that is our shit.
All right. All right, everybody.
Did you shut up the live stream too?
You gotta do that. Your host.
I can't. I'm not the host. Oh, I am.